LinkedIn's a good one. I like LinkedIn.
I saw it come up on my timeline on Facebook shortly after.
And that's always a goat because, I mean, most people in South Mississippi.
That's what they're on.
Yeah. So you can grab your phones and share it under my name. You got on Facebook. I know y'all do. Share it because then that's where everybody, your family can see.
Let's get it going. Wait,
Yep, says we're live.
Are y'all still in 49?
Yeah. Been there
Same
since
building?
Katrina. Yeah. We moved in after Katrina and then been there ever since. It's a sturdy building for sure, but we're aging.
How many employees?
We have a little bit over under 50 at a time.
Volunteers or paid?
Paid.
50 employees?
But that's more than just animal care department, right? So that's going to be your thrift employees, your spay and neuter clinic employees, reception, administration. You have the adoptions counselors, but yeah.
And then how many volunteers do you have that just love animals? Like the cat
Not
lady.
nearly as many as you need. Definitely not as many as we need. Yeah, I mean, Saturdays are, of course, our busiest days for volunteers to come through. We have a lot of groups that come in. But when we are talking about just your average day-to-day volunteers who just like have it in their heart, it's
you hardly see
pretty
them.
slim pickings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then when you do see them, it's usually the same people every day.
Which we're grateful for.
Yeah, but it's
companion though. All right, let me drop this ad real quick. Guys, we got South Mississippi Humane Society of South Mississippi. I'm dyslexic. And I'm with Haleigh and Bianca, and they are employed there. And seems like a very interesting place to be employed at. They're going to dive in more about animals and what they do and how you can help, all kinds of stuff. They're just going to vent, tell everything they can tell about their work. Yeah. This is a great organization. If you're from the South, you know Humane Society. It's right there on 49. I've been there. My old husky actually was brought there. He got out of the gate. So great people, and I hope you enjoy the show. And right now, let's hit the ads. Also, if you need tickets for the Pink Dress Run, October 18th, get them now. Early bird, user code, save $5. Been a hit today. We sold 10 plus tickets. The run's not until October. I just wanted to launch it June 1st. All the money raised goes to breast cancer. You know how that works. We raised over $500,000. Let's go. How's this work? I forgot. I'm not lying to you. I'm not lying to you at all right now.
Meet awful, home, auto, muscle, builders, lips, and life is rich.
Oliver's good.
Oliver Shots is rich.
It's just community and everything.
I'm a big lover in where I'm from. I'm from the Gulf Coast, and having a show and being able to have people on. I look at a lot of the other networks, and I'm not going to say too bad things about the other networks, but it seems more of a pay to play instead of highlighting things that need to be highlighted. This is just fascinating because it's like, I don't know who you are, Bianca. You're here on the show.
It's exciting.
You don't know who
I know who you are. Yeah, bullshit. I know your dad well. He always talks like, hey, what up, man? How's it going, Bo?
He does sound like that. And if you're watching, you sound like
that. It's like he owns was SWC.
Yeah. Southern Way.
Southern Way, yeah, concrete. Right?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. He's
sorry, Dad.
He's just a good dude, man. He's always part of our crew. He's been in the Pink Dress Run wearing a dress all the time.
We'll see you in it this year too.
Oh, he's always there. All right, Bianca got you here. Hey, I got you here. Why are y'all into the whole pet thing?
Why am I into the pet thing?
Yeah, like what makes you go, you know what? I'm going to work at the Humane Society. Like, what made you go, you could have been like, you could have worked at Walmart. Yeah. You could have been an attorney. You could have done a lot of things. But why are you involved with helping recover animals, finding homes for animals, that's a tough situation to be in. I mean, there's so many other opportunities. You can literally do like Amazon, FBA, or whatever,
FBI.
or TikTok. You can do TikTok lives, whatever you want. But what makes you want to do this?
Yeah, well, I moved here from San Diego about 13 years ago, and so I wasn't familiar with the community at all. I worked at the Island View for a short bit of time, which was a great employer, but it was just not a place that I wanted to really be. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up, and so it got to a point where I just felt like what I was doing wasn't really meaningful, and that's kind of what I needed in my life at the time. So my husband was like, just quit your job and go volunteer somewhere. I don't care what you do, just like be productive, and
Sounds like a smart guy.
Yeah, he's smart sometimes, but so I actually went to the shelter and we were adopting, and I filled out an application while I was there. So he always jokes about how I bought my job, but yeah, I started there just as field level and working the retail center, and I wanted to do what the adoption counselors did, and I've just fallen in love with it. I don't see myself leaving ever if it's up to me. So,
how about you?
So I'm still in college. I'm doing online at Mississippi State. I've been traveling for the past year and a half, but before I started traveling, I had an internship. My internship was with the nonprofit for veterans, and I think right then and there is when I fell in love with nonprofit work. So when we moved back, I decided to just apply to anything I could find. I was tired of just doing school. And this job actually said college degree preferred. And I was like, you know what? Like, this is right up my alley. And she took a chance on me. And I think that it's going well so far.
I'd say so. No, we're really excited. Haleigh's going to be fulfilling a brand new department that we're instilling with Humane Education. And she's got a big passion for PR. So she was like, we have got to get our story out there.
How do y'all make money? How do y'all survive though? I mean, like, ain't it like $50 or $100 to adopt? I mean, it's not a lot of money.
Less than that sometimes.
Yeah, less than that more often than not. So, I mean, our adoption fees, they range. So the majority of our animals, which I think most people are familiar with, are like your pit bull terrier type dogs that are entering the shelters. And those dogs have like $20 adoption fees, but they do go up to about $350, but those are very few and far between. And the reason why we have that significant increase is to help us subsidize our longer stay residents, such as the pit bull bully breeds, in order to try to make up for that in a way. We have a lot of doodles and Chihuahua small breed dogs that come through that everybody is searching for. And so what happens is those dogs people literally fight over them in the lobby. And then we have dogs that are there for 7 months that we are begging people to take. And they're
older.
Not necessarily
Really?
older, not necessarily older. I mean, 9 months old. We've had 5-month-old puppies stay at the shelter for 5 months, and they end up going into adulthood just because they're not at that cute puppy stage, but they're not adults either. So they're in this weird little age gap where they're kind of overlooked because they're not house trained, but they can't fit in the palm of your hand too.
Do you feel how about cats? I mean, the cats, I mean, I have 2 cats in my backyard all the time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cats are a whole nother issue.
It's crazy. I mean, we're not going to get rid of the cats because they're like, for us, like, they just like our back porch.
Yeah.
I just made a pamphlet on this. Bianca, how many cats do you think we have in the shelter right now?
Guesstimate based off daily shelter count, like 137, something like that, which our adoption floor only holds 25. And then the back of the house, we have 2 holding spaces for cats, and they're small. So we're really, really overcrowded.
So do y'all do like, you have to do like sponsorships and like have memberships? Or you have like people that love animals that send you a monthly check?
Yeah, so we're a private nonprofit organization. We do have municipal contracts, but we're funded by donations. We don't receive like trickle down funding from the Humane Society of the United States or the ASPCA. I mean, we can apply for grants, but those are awarded if we're.
So you're on part of like Gulfport. Gulfport Animal Control comes, they bring the animals to
Right.
you,
Yeah.
and
So
you get paid per animal they drop off.
we don't get paid per animal that they drop off. We get paid like the city contracts us to house their animals. And so basically like the amount of animals that are brought in from a specific jurisdiction or municipality is what contributes to their cost per animal. So if it's weighted between dogs and cats, so let's say that the city of Gulfport has 1,250 animals that are brought in, and I can't remember the amount of differentiation between dogs or cats, but we're going to weigh that because the cost per cat is lower than a cost per dog, just based on the veterinary care that they require and the amount of food that they eat.
But it pays for like food for the animals.
It helps us
helps a
pay
lot.
for basic needs for 5 days, but the reality for only 5 days of care. But the reality is that we have dogs and cats also that are in our responsibility for months. For a long time, we were holding on to the animals for over a year, and then we really had to take a look at whether or not that was humane, because if people are not coming for them, you ultimately see a lot of behavioral challenges that they start to exhibit, similar to what you see in like marine life, that's in captivity, which we won't get into all that, but it's, a lot of circling and pacing and a lot of barrier reactivity because they're frustrated, and it just does not attract adopters.
Well, I mean, we grabbed our dog, last Saturday. I was telling you about, like, going in, I was like, this dog might be crazy. It's gonna take a little time.
Yeah.
But I don't go in like I'm gonna have the perfect dog. Like, dogs can be wild.
Yeah, they are.
They have emotions and feelings, and every animal does. Like I said, them cats in my backyard, they know me.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, I do feed sometimes. So, but it's my neighbor's cats down the road. So like they like that certain area, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but they all have personalities. Every animal has a personality. How big are the kennels? Like, are the kennels you'll have them in? You'll have kennels, or they free roam? How's that work?
No, we have kennel spaces. So our capacity is like 333. And pretty steadily, especially during the summer months, we're over that. We're sitting right now at about almost 400.
And that's just dogs or cats too?
Dogs and cats. But for a good long bit, I want to say there was almost 300 dogs alone. We tend to see an increase in the amount of cats that enter in like March, April timeframe, just because it's spring and like all these cats have been breeding, and like South Mississippi doesn't have a cool down stage, it's always hot. And so these animals are breeding, and then their kittens are being born, their puppies are being born, and then good citizens find them, when mom's out and about, and then they're like, I found these kittens and mom never came back, but in reality she probably was. And so they bring into the shelter where we have to now bottle feed them, and we have very limited capability of doing that. When you're talking about, 15 kittens that have to be bottle fed every 2 hours. So we rely on foster parents heavily for that kind of intake.
So what is a foster parent?
So it's similar to fostering children, right? Except the Humane Society will provide food. They'll provide supplies like litter boxes, litter, if they're bottle feeding, bottles, formula, pretty much you name it, veterinary care. Most
Do y'all get to able to do like, with like Carter's Champions? Like, do you get to, like we do for, high school kids or college kids, we can do service hours?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you have the same kind of situation?
Yeah. So we've weighted it because, in the reality is that when you're fostering an animal and they're at your house 24 hours a day, you're not really putting in 24 hours of community service, but there are certain levels. Like, if you have a litter of 5 that need to be bottle fed, we're going to give you about 5 to 6 hours of volunteer service for each day that you have those animals in your care. I don't know the exact structure of that, but it was something that we were working on earlier this year. And I'm not the foster coordinator, so forgive me, but a adult dog who's just needing some R&R from the shelter can go home, and you're realistically putting in about 2 hours with that dog each evening to let him go potty, play, learn a little bit of training with you. all of it's needed, but it's just there's different requirements.
You hear that, college kids?
In case they're
You need
needing.
some community hours? This is where you go.
Yeah.
Take a dog in. Take care of a dog for a little bit.
Or you can have a sleepover with them too.
Yeah.
I mean, the more you get involved with it, like I already. Well, I think the biggest thing for me is like, I don't think a kid can go without a pet.
No, they can't.
No, I got my kid. Like I don't look. We pulled our kid from Bayview because I was like, my son's homeschooled, so I pulled him from Bayview because not into the whole education thing anymore. I don't like the way the education system works anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I told him, I was like, well, we just lost structure. Like, babe, he'll be 10 when we get the next dog. And I'm like, he's got to have a dog now. He's got to have a friend.
Yeah.
And he's in jujitsu and stuff. American Top Team, shout out, great kid. But I was like, he has to have a friend. And then that's when I was like, she was like, well, if we're gonna do it, we're only gonna get a golden doodle. I'm like, bet. And that's when I was asking, like, I'm gonna keep searching. I'm searching the web.
When we were on the phone the first time, he was like, okay, cool. Like, come on the podcast, but do you have any golden doodles? I was like, Bianca, do we have this?
Not at the moment, but we get them. Yes.
But it's something that, it's something that she wanted. And I get in that situation where I'll find it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You get your mind to it.
But it was more towards him having a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's his responsibility. Like he gets up, he takes I'm still messing the Cusco.
Cusco.
I'm not a big Disney. I'm more Three Ninjas. Disney movies were okay. But Cusco, and he puts Cusco's leash on, takes Cusco out. Believe it or not, though, Cusco, even without a leash, it's just such a lovable dog.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I'm going out, I'm coming right back in.
Mm-hmm.
We like riding in the car with us. It's like Cusco sits in my lap in the front seat. It's like,
He's your road dog.
it's just this, but it was cool for like, Oliver, you're gonna learn this shit, dude. You're gonna clean, you're gonna pick up the poo. Because we even take Tony, my neighbor Tony, like, we take his dog Remy. She's 6 years old. We take Remy on walks too. So, and she's a full golden doodle. And he spent $6,000 on her. But he loved Remy's a sweet dog, but like they get excited to see each other now. And but
they're friends.
I think the best thing is you're gonna have an animal. Take the animal on a walk.
Yeah. It's how you bond with them.
Yeah. Take a little walk.
Mm-hmm.
That's the cool. I'm so glad to have another animal. It's been like, I think we lost Molly 2 years ago.
That's a long time.
Horrible situation.
Yeah.
Always tough.
Well, the hardest thing is like we had a lot of guilt. And I think a lot of people can relate to this. Like, so Emily had Molly, college dog. Emily busted her ass. Like that's her. That's right there. If you look over there, master's degree, Southern Miss. That's her in the background. But she had her Molly, and when we met, she had her college dog on the.
Oh, I see it.
And no, seriously, that's a real photo of my girl's graduation right there. Girl got a master's degree, Southern Miss. Bet. But when I met her, we had Molly, and then I had Bo, and then it was transition of we dated for 2 weeks, had a kid, and 3 months later bought this house. This is when it moved fast. We moved real fast. But like the fact that we had our dogs and they loved each other, but Oliver was premature, and the doctor's like, you can't have the animals in the house, during his weight, stuff like that, just really precaution. Vulnerable. Well, then, we took the back porch and cooled it down and, gave everything, but we also had a little guilt because normally, Bo had the couch, right. They had their own areas, and they did, man. And, but it was like the way the feeling of having an animal at your home, and you have something, if you have a bad day, you have that other family member. Mm-hmm. It's like, look, I can lose $1,000 a day, but like get home and you got Cusco, or you got an animal to chill out and kind of. I think having an animal resets your mind.
For sure. Yeah, my 13-year-old, we had to unfortunately put her to sleep, and she slept with my son every single night since he was a baby. And that was really hard for him, right? He's your son's age, about 10. And so when we lost her, he adjusted, but it was not even a month, and we were like, it's time. I can't believe you went 2 years. Honestly, that's unimaginable.
I didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
I'm not even I'm at a point now. I'm not gonna argue with her.
Wait,
I love you, girl. I know you're watching.
In April.
she just set in her mind. And well, the thing is, we lost Bo first, and we lost Bo. Shout out to the pet clinic. We did a surgery on Bo and a tumor, and we lost him on the table.
Oh,
And it was a blood clot. And it was hard on Don Parker's wife, Doc Parker. Shout out to her, but it was rough. I do Don's marketing. They're like the architectural firm next to it is the marketing I do, and it's his wife's the veterinarian. So it's like when it went down, it was a successful surgery. She did a great job,
the
but
complications happened.
It happened, and I was like, okay, I couldn't go up there because I literally couldn't go watch the surgery. She had to go do it. She was way stronger than that stuff because I'm gonna lose my mind. And then it was about we had Molly about another I think 3 years. It was about 3 years because we'd always say like, it's crazy. We'd always be like, well, we're gonna have one more Christmas with her. Well, she was on medication, and we took her off the medication. She did better.
What medication was she on?
Arthritis or something. She had some kind of medication, but like she was on it, and we took her off of it. And she started acting like a pup again. And like we're like, what? Like, what? She started jumping around. So she peed on herself from time to time. But then we got to a point where we're just like feeding her like house food stuff because like it was just more wet food.
Yeah.
I think as you get older, you feed them wet food. It's easier. And but then where we had to put Molly down, this is not not that long ago, but like we had to put her down because she just wouldn't eat steaks anymore. Like she didn't have that in her to eat anymore.
Yeah.
And then Emily's like, I'm having enough. And it was over a lot because it was like Emily every day, like vacuuming every day. And we're cleaning up pee. And as they get older, there's a responsibility as when you have a pet. You can't put your pet down and like just because you don't want to clean up pee. You put your pet down because your pet can't function anymore.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the hard part.
I think it's commendable. And people like you and I and Haleigh, like we see it that way. But I think on the other side of the spectrum at the shelter, we see a lot of people who don't see it that way too. And speaking of peeing on themselves, just yesterday, there was a dog. I was sitting in the Pet Resources Lost and Found lobby, and one of our staff members runs through the door. She's like, there's a dog that's been dumped.
Oh,
and
gosh.
It's like I probably had less of a reaction to it because it happens all the time. But it shocked me at the same time because not usually like someone will come into the lobby and they'll be like, I need to do XYZ for this animal. And if they don't get the immediate, like, I'm going to give you everything you need right here and now reaction from us, we're always offering solutions, but it might not be exactly what they are asking of us. But nobody had come in. And so it shocked me. We went outside, checked on this dog, and she was not walking. Her back legs were completely paralyzed, and she was just like dragging herself across the grass, across the yard. So we have the main shelter, and then across the parking lot is like a pavilion area that's gated off. And she was sitting there, and so sweet, like sweet as could be. And you could tell that she had maybe been hit by a car weeks ago. Like she's been living with this situation for a while because she had wounds all over her legs, and they were scabbed up and basically healed. But we brought her in, and we were hopeful that she would have some sort of bladder control and no pain response, because no pain response would indicate, right, that she's not feeling anything in those back legs, and that whatever she's been through has at least not affected her in that sense. But she lost full bladder control, and she did have a pain response. So whoever had possession of her, basically what I'm getting at is they had her in that very vulnerable state for weeks. And then when they got tired of looking at her and tired of peeing, her peeing on the floor, they decided that it was no longer their problem, and they couldn't do
like a diaper, a little wheelchair, or anything like that.
Nobody. Well, you could, but the issue being is that in a shelter environment, it's not ideal. This is when we're sitting at max capacity and our kennel spaces are full, a foster parent would have to express that bladder 3 to 5 times a day. And that's a really niche, like I've worked at the shelter for 12 years. I don't know how to do that. And the foster parents that we have, that's just not the reality of their skill set, unfortunately. So we did have to make the unfortunate decision to euthanize her. But it would have just been a lot easier for us and for that animal. It had their people just come in through the shelter and said, hey, this is what's going on. We have people who donate wheelchairs. It would have been a different response if she had no pain response, right? But being that she was feeling pain in those back legs, there's no telling how long it would have taken for her to heal, or whether or not she'd be living with chronic pain. And we're just not in the position where we can.
And that was a situation I had Mr. Lewis. He's out. Shout out Lewis from Flalama. His buddy was telling me same situation with, like, you know, he's like, they have like on Porter Avenue, they have like, I don't know, like 6 cats that just live under the house, and it just came out, and he was like, he called y'all, and he was like, y'all can't home them, like y'all can't house them.
Yeah.
He was like, you know, you can help them foster the cats.
Yeah.
So, but y'all have such an intake of cats that y'all can't take the cats.
There are times that we're like begging people to bring cats, right? So going back to like the seasonal stuff, in September through, I would say, February, there are hardly any cats in the shelter. And you have people like, oh, do you have any kittens? Do you have any kittens? Do you have any kittens? And we're like, well, if you know where they are, please send them our way, because everybody is asking. But then in the spring and summer months, we just cannot keep up with the amount of intake. So what we're asking for from community members who either, you know, have found cats or have had cats, like kind of in, like you've described, they've have neighbors whose cats have kittens, and they can't be responsible for all 15 of them. We're asking that with our support, they foster them so that we'll vaccinate them the first day you come to us. But we're going to send them back home with you. We can provide some food, whatever it is that you need to kind of sustain them for the time being. And then they'll return to the shelter either when they're age appropriate for spay and neuter, and or their vaccinations have been they're fully immunized, so they're not susceptible to different very common.
And that's understandable, because you're over full right now. I mean, y'all are breaking out the seams right now.
I mean, it's at the end of the day, like, a shelter is there to help support their community, not to just be the only resource that like you just leave animals at and you don't have to deal with it. And we're there to work together with our community. And I think that we unfortunately are known as the organization that you either get an animal from or you take your animal to. And there's no in between, when really there's so much more that we can provide and that we can offer, and that we have programs to help, get.
Let's dive into them. I'm curious, but it's like, I know I didn't adopt a dog from y'all just because I was just dedicated to finding this dog. It wasn't nothing personal, but I had to find something for my little boy, and Emily's rule was she wanted it had to be the next dog, Golden Doodle. And I just remember her breaking down when we lost Molly. Well, like, there's levels of like when I told Emily I'm gonna start a podcast, she was like, all right. Like, she built this wall with my stepdad. I was like, all right. But like, when it comes to like, there's levels that we know about each other where it's like, babe, I'm not. This is it. And then she was like, kept saying, I was like, I don't want nothing many. And then she's like, so like today we're in the van. She's like, you see Costco, like Cusco. She see Cusco sitting. I always say Costco. I mess up everything. I don't know how to spell shit. That's another thing too. It's like, you talk about nonprofits. Somehow, some way, I figured out how to create a nonprofit and people love but can't spell shit. But I care about people. I don't like I think the biggest thing for me is I don't like watching people sick.
Yeah.
Like there was a point when I was when I was your age, I was very selfish. But then as I got older and I watched people being sick and they're talking about their cancer and them not feeling beautiful, then I was like, oh shit. And then my heart just went, and I'm like, I don't care. I used to care about how can I make more money than this person? I don't give a shit about that. Yeah. I care about like sitting with a person that's like, hey, I just got diagnosed with cancer. I don't feel good about myself. I'm more about insecurities.
Right.
And that you look at the same thing with like my son. My son's dealing with it now. Like, I was telling him, is like, he has to have a friend. Like, you're homeschooled. Like, you got friends. No, he's got cousins and stuff, but like, he needs an everyday imagination, Like I can see right now, like he's gonna build costumes. Oliver loves building costumes.
I thought you were about to say Costco.
I will say it again. I will say it again.
Like, here we go.
Guys, do me a favor. South Mississippi Humane Society. What's y'all's .org?
hssm.org. Yeah.
Okay, so didn't put that in, but I got it on Facebook. We're not done with the podcast. Probably need to type it right here. Hold on. I'll type it in the comments or type it in the banner. Go ahead with y'all do more than you were talking about doing more than what people think, like dropping a dog, like dropping an animal off.
Yeah. Well, I want to start with the fun ones, of course. My favorite is our Dog's Day Out program. So we started that, I want to say maybe 5 years ago. So it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It gives the dogs just a day out of the shelter. So like and my son and I have done it multiple times, but if I wanted to spend a day out with my son and just like quality family time, I could go to the shelter with my son. We check out a dog for the day. It's completely free. And then we go to like Shaggy's or the beach, anywhere. We just request not a dog park, anywhere that you want to go with them and just get some quality time for the dog, some exercise, some one-on-one attention. And then they return to the shelter at the end of the day before we close. And I think it's a great way to spend time with your family or just like by yourself if you want to go down to Jones Park, whatever it may be. But a lot of people think for some reason it's only something we do during the summer. It's year round, any day we're open. And like I said, it's completely free. So
one thing that I want to do really bad is I want to do the slumber party program. Yeah. One of my friends came in the other day, and I'm pretty sure he's probably watching this, but one of my friends came in the other day. They recently lost their dog, and it was a really tough day.
Give him a shout out. Name your friend.
Hey, Will.
There you go.
But they came in, I want to say last week, and it was just so random. He just texted me. He said, "Hey, I'm coming to see you at work." And I was like, okay, like where? And so he ended up coming in with his mom, his grandma, and his sister, and they came and they found her name was Gigi. Now she's named Missy, I think. I think they're still up in the air about the name. We'll see. But they did a slumber party because they didn't know what they wanted to do. By the end of it, they'd adopted her, and now the dog that had been in the shelter for, I want to say like 2 or 3 months, she has her nails painted pink and she's eating steak. So these programs do make a huge difference.
And I think that's that's a good idea. And I don't want to. Hey, Will Stewart. Shout out, Will.
Is he in there?
I'm the friend. Hey guys, watching with my new bestie.
Oh.
So you look at like a situation too is like I'm gonna throw this out. Like we did it a few times. I wasn't a massive fan of it. We did Pink Out Your Pet for the Pink Dress Run.
Mm-hmm.
Not a fan of it. But if you got, because I have so much, like I'm leading the run in the Carter Champions this year. Like, and I've been a big part of. Me and John, we're brothers. My board members were brothers. But I'm not against y'all doing something with pets at my run. But y'all got to do it. I'm not doing it. Like,
I'll do it.
Yeah, but I mean that's something, like I said, like because there's a lot of people there.
Yeah.
And there's a good opportunity. Like we did like a Pink Out Your Pet competition.
Oh, fun! It's a big event.
Mm-hmm.
We need we'll have another conversation.
Yeah.
Well,
No, but it's not that. I mean, it's really. I mean, if you get a situation and you can have a few, and or if you don't want to do that, you can just have a vendor spot.
Yeah.
And bring a few animals out and see if people sign up. Because I mean, we brought into like the medical marijuana people, like, and they are educating people.
We'd love to.
Yeah. So just like
we need all the adopters.
Yes.
Yeah,
all the fosters.
yes.
But people do that. Like they're in a good feel. Like, I mean, that was like another rule. Like we have like the run is like, you can't do our Pink Dress Run unless you listen to, like, so we do this thing with shout out to Brittany Land. She's a badass survivor, but she runs our survivor chair. So if you're a person battling with cancer, it doesn't matter about breast cancer, but if you're battling with cancer, you're feeling a certain way. We have the massive stage at Chandelier,
Mm-hmm.
and they tell their stories with the microphones, and it's tough. Like you're sitting there before the run, but no, this happens before the run. You got to let every person that's battling cancer or a survivor of cancer, if they want to, tell their story, and you got to listen to them. And then we do the national anthem, and then we do the run, and that is 100% it. but like more than welcome have a vendor spot there. But the people that are there that stay are the people that actually care.
Yeah.
And I think that's big. And like I said, like we have such a big team behind us. They feel the same way. I mean, what is Brittany now? 25, 26? I'm going to be age probably wrong, but Brittany's, I don't know, 28, man. Shit, Brittany. I'm going to make you younger. But she is a badass. And, but the way we operate that situation. Now, my big thing was just like, I don't want to deal while I'm focusing on the run and the survivors of cancer. I can't, it's already hard enough for me to sit there and meet a new survivor and hear their story. So I don't want to deal with, so if y'all decide y'all want to do it, anything with animals, that's South Mississippi Humane Society. I mean, and it's fun. Like, I mean, but most people are chill. It's like lawn chair. They're not going to throw a fit.
Yeah.
But it's just like, you all know how to do events anyways.
Every weekend.
It's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine walking. I mean, how do y'all clean the animals?
Tirelessly. So I've never worked directly in the animal care department, which is like basically our kennel techs. They're responsible for cleaning on a consistent basis. But oh gosh, 333 kennels. Every dog has to be walked every single day. And then, so each animal in terms of cleaning and scheduling is allotted 15 minutes of your time. And that's just simply not enough. But it's just persistence, and you put some headphones in and you just listen to music, and then you get to enjoy those few moments out in the yard with your dog. And then, you got some hissy cats who don't necessarily want to be interacted with. But then you also have your cute cuddly kittens. So it balances out. It's just, I would say that our animal care team, depending on the makeup of the rooms they're cleaning, it's like 44 kennels per day. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Do you have to and I'll go back to this. It's like, you think you want an animal, but it takes work.
Yeah.
Like I said, I literally got a dog for, $100 or $150. What, hell, I would have gave way more because I was already on a mission. But before we left, we left, it was like $100 in. Like I said, I'll break it down. From PetSmart was $176, and then I ordered a kennel because of just having a kennel. You have to have that kennel. I'm not a massive kennel trained person, to be honest with you. I'm more of because I've raised my husky just like as a pillow.
Yeah.
But Emily likes to, keep, and everybody tells me it's structure. So fine. But that was $6. I mean, all in all, we went in, we're in, 500, but no one, I knew that going into it.
Right.
I mean, I brought a stack of, I literally brought a stack of cash. I was like, ready to... who knows? Number one, I didn't know, first off, it was like a rehoming fee, but the dog wasn't groomed. The dog had fleas, and it's like, we didn't have the trim kit. We knew we had to trim it because once you get that mad at, you got to trim.
Shave it down.
So we had to go, Emily had to go to Walmart at 8:30 at night. We're not gonna do the dematting brush that we bought for $25-$30. We're like, no, we're going to shave.
Fresh start. Yeah.
And
Well, it looks great. So you did that yourself?
Yeah, it's like
it looks good. It does. It really does.
Yeah, I mean, but it's but you should have seen it early. You should have seen it before. It was bad.
Yeah.
That's a tough.
Emily's good.
We see the stuff.
It's got to be disgusting.
Doodles require so much grooming that I think even they're such cute dogs, but people, and I think we were talking about this earlier, with the Persian that I had, you just, no matter how much research you do, you're never going to be prepared. You're never going to be prepared for all that it entails. But yeah, I think a lot of people will go and they'll pay the rehoming fee and, and maybe they're anticipating the kennel purchase or, whatever it be, but all the additional expenses that kind of go into it.
You get a dog, it's $500.
Yeah.
Easy. Don't care. It's $500 right off the bat.
Easy.
So keep that in mind. I mean, it's, I'm telling you, I knew it going in though, because of having Bo. I remember when Molly, my buddy's ex-girlfriend, Molly, shout out Molly. She does employee services now. But she lives in Gulfport. She bought Bo. We were roommates, and I bought the house in Hickory Hills, and she bought Bo for they were dating. We wanted a dog. We were like, hey, let's get a husky. Well, it was like we got a phone call, and they're like, "Yeah, if you don't pick him up, we're gonna put him down." And I'm like, we're like, okay, we don't know shit. Like,
Yeah.
and that was kind of how I learned about like having a adopted dog. And it was like he ran. I mean, hours I spent like trying to track him
Escape
down.
artist.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
like the holes, even back here.
Yeah.
Like we still have some holes. I'm like, sure. So if you want a husky, let me tell you something about huskies.
They'll find you.
You better brush them every 4 days. Give them a good brush, and you better keep in mind that you better either dig big poles. They're gonna dig out. I mean,
They are. Funny story about that. I had a husky break into my house the other day.
Oh my gosh, you
Like,
did.
Yes, I really did. So my boyfriend out of town, and I'm having a tough day, like a really bad day. And so I walk into my house, and I'm like, it's time to let my dogs out. And one of them can be aggressive, and so I'm just like, oh, he like snapped at the other dog. There are 3 dogs in my house. I have 2 dogs. The one that was not mine, okay? And so I'm like, who are you? Like, what are you doing here? I spend the next 5 hours fighting with this husky. I'm like, get in my backyard. Like, one of my dogs is mean, and it's like storming outside. And so I'm sitting against this doggy door, like trying to push her out. And eventually I'm like, okay, you can go into my guest bedroom and you can sleep there. And then
You call animal control.
I tried to call animal control, and they switched like shifts, dispatch, and so they just didn't get sent to see me. And also, it was just to get a microchipped. Okay, animal control is not a bad thing. Microchip check.
Because you went home.
I had they had some like one of them like before down the road. We had like a AKA I call it a meth house, and they had this one dog which is like it wasn't a husky, but it was like it looked like a husky, but it was like short hair, but it was mean. And it was always off the leash, but it was super aggressive, and it would like bark at me like Cujo style.
Yeah.
And I would reach out to animal control, and they come out. And, they do the best they can.
Yeah.
And that is one, but this is actual. It's no longer there. I didn't do it, but the house burnt down.
I didn't do it.
No, I did not do it.
Are you sure?
100% sure. But it did. It used to be a crack house at the end of my road, and but they had this dog, and you could tell they were doing something with that dog. It was sad. But there's one time I remember the animal control. I'm like, dude, you got like, this is when Oliver was in kindergarten, and he had a school bus, and this dog would like be off the leash and just barking, and I lost it. I was like, God, stop. Well, I reached out to animal control, and I was like, they brought a Explorer, the 19-year-old about to be a cop, and I'm like, bruh, don't you even walk to the house. Like, get back in your truck. Get back in your truck.
And go home.
Yeah, go home and let's bring in an officer who's got a vest.
Yeah.
You're going, he goes, I'm going to talk to him. Like, don't you go talk to him. They didn't have any teeth. This is guaranteed. No, this is serious.
Well, animal control officers are really like they're not sworn in officers, and so they're really put in some pretty spicy situations, and I think a lot of people, they still see him as the dog catcher, and it's like, so much more than that.
With that husky, I said I was calling animal control, and they were like, oh my gosh, why are you doing that? And I was just like, and I thought that too before I sat in that pet resources office, and I saw these officers like being so nice to these pets, like, can you check for a microchip so we can call their owner? Like, this husky, animal control, well, patrol picked them up, so sorry to whoever came to check.
It happens.
Yeah, I thought I was scared. Okay, I was home alone and I was scared.
I call.
Someone's in the house.
Yeah.
And I don't check. I call my boyfriend. I'm like,
you call him a lot, don't you?
I do.
What's your boyfriend's name? Give him a shout out.
Chance, I love you. I'm so sorry for all the phone calls you get. if he's in there, let me know.
He's probably. He's sliding somehow.
Yeah, but no, I was so scary. And patrol, she got right in their car, and I was like, okay, that's weird. But it ended up being like I waited in that office in pet resources. I would get to work and I would say, Bianca, can I please go sit in pet resources for the beginning of my day? Please, please, please. And she was like, okay, fine. And so I did. I sat in there and I did my work in there and I was like, have you guys seen Gulfport today? Like, have you guys seen
For the record, I was thrilled because nobody ever wants to sit in pet resources. So I was like, yeah, please go. Absolutely.
It's so hard, but to do like the work that we do, you have to see what happens in there, because like I don't think that anyone gets it as bad as they do. And so like sitting in there teaches you a lot, and I'm new, so I'm like, okay,
that's the best way to learn it though. It's kind of like when I started doing when I got my first job, I washed dishes. Let me hit on this one guy though. Quentin,
Quentin?
Long Beach. So I'll be honest with you, like,
Hi, Quentin.
but he's actually a big gun guy. Like I met him buying guns.
Really?
So he's the same. And he understand when I was telling him about. He'd understand when I was talking about like the explorer style, because he definitely packs.
Oh, for sure. Quentin is a good friend of ours.
Yeah, no, I met him years ago. I met him 10 years ago, like when we were in our, we were in our, still am gun face, but he was very, like I said, when the younger kid came, he was going to go to that house, and I knew all the, like, they had like washing machines in the front yard. They had like they had so much of basketball goals. They were just taking copper everywhere. I'm like, and he was super nice. Like, I'm going to talk to him. Like, no, you're not. And he's like,
don't.
He's like,
Don't do it.
He was like, what do you mean? I was like, no, you're not. I was like, dude, that's a meth house, bro. I said, they probably feed that dog meth. And no, I was serious. He was in front of right where you parked at. I said, dude, just call. I said, call the PD. Don't you
get them over
here.
Yeah,
don't you go over there. And he's like, are you sure, man? I'm like, don't. Yeah. And he got in the truck, and they got situated, but it had to be escalated towards. He was like, I'll go to, like, don't you?
How long ago was this?
It was probably a year and a half ago.
I wonder if I knew him. I'm sure. I'm just wondering
what
which one
color
it could
hair
be.
we got going on.
He's just a skinny. I mean, probably 5'6", white boy, skinny, just really sweet. 5'7".
They're all really sweet.
They are all very sweet.
That's
what I was saying. Like they thought that it was so bad, but honestly, that dog didn't step foot into the shelter because animal control scanned RTO, went straight home after. Right home. Didn't have to come see us at all.
How many people do you have, like, where they have the outbreaks on y'all though? Like when they're like the pet owners come in, because like y'all got me for like $75. Y'all got me for $75 for Bo when Bo broke out, and they put him in the animal control, and I was like, it's like $100. It's like, I knew, I was like, well, at least y'all had my dog.
Yeah.
And but it's a husky. Huskies break. Like,
yeah, they do.
It's not like, and we can do whatever he want. He can eat steaks all day. He's going to break away.
Yeah.
He's going to run faster than you can ever think.
Be the most spoiled dog in the world, and he's still going to find a way to leave.
But I mean, so what is y'all's, if somebody comes and they pick up their dog, what is the fee?
So return to owner fees for us, for the Humane Society, are $50. But if they're picked up in the city limits of Gulfport, then we have to send you to the police department.
How to go?
Yeah, pay them $20 a day that the animal is picked up and at the shelter. So on day one, you are already out $70. But there are many, many, many occasions that we waive our fee, like especially if the dog is microchipped and they are neutered or spayed. We will work with you. It's other side of the coin is that you kind of have sometimes you see some people just simply being irresponsible and going back to, and the difference because you have pet owners who are there day, like, oh my gosh, is Bo there again? And they're there in an hour. We're going to work with those pet owners. But
but that was me.
Yeah. Well, I did not manage the
No, it's fine. I mean, look, it wasn't that. I was just like,
yeah.
I always do it. Like today, I got tires changed in my truck at the tire shop by y'all, the yellow building. The across the street, like it's
like on
25th. The yellow says
right on the corner.
No, the tire shop right on the other side. So like they're like, I got tires on the my lightning gun. Shout out, I got a Ford Lightning, guys. Don't be jealous. Fast and Furious all the way.
So many shout outs.
But the it was like they were like $50. I was like, dude, here's $80. Just it's the same way I looked at y'all stuff. I was like, I can tell, I'm like, $50, y'all need it.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like that's kind of thing. Like you can waive the fees, but guys, if you do lose your animal and it goes to their facility, that $50 goes a long way with food and treatment. And that's you can shout out anybody you want on this thing. It's a live show.
Well, there was also this man that came in, and this is like you're saying, yes, it helps, but there was a man who we were able to get his pet back to him, and he sobbed. He was willing to sell his truck. I'm pretty sure he said.
I don't think I was there for this one.
No, like he was like ready to do anything that it took to pay that fee, and like that's the kind of person. But then you have people who come in day 5 and they're like, okay, here to get my dog. Like it's so there's no in between.
Oh no, Bo was only there for 3 hours.
Yeah.
But keep in mind though, like every single animal that comes into the shelter, we're obligated to vaccinate them, to microchip them, to deworm them. Like all of that is written into the contract. So they all have to receive that. It doesn't matter what they're getting. So it doesn't matter how long they're there for. But if they have anything else going on, like let's say that they are riddled with hookworms, which is not a typical wormer that you would get on intake, then there's a whole nother treatment that has to be afforded to that animal that we send home with the owner free of charge, which at a veterinary clinic, you're looking, depending on the size of an animal for that, you're looking at another $30 at minimum, plus the office visit fee. So, I mean, really, at the end of the day, I'm not saying that we're, just doing your animal a service by just taking them in, but we are at the end of the day. That's why we're there, is to be able to afford to be a place for animals to go when they're out in dangerous situations or causing a ruckus.
I think that the $20 at the Gulfport, I had to go collect it. I had to go pay there. I think that $20 should just be at Humane Society, and you just let them have it.
I appreciate that.
No, I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
Shout out new mayor Hugh Keating. It's like, shout out, dude. I love you, bud. But it's a serious thing. It's like I was uncomfortable with going to there.
A lot of people are.
Yeah, so just give the $20 to. I mean, the $20. Imagine how many times that happens, and it adds up, so you can get better care. Came on the show. You knew this is a show, and this is how I feel. So. If you're gonna, if the city wants the $20, and I understand, animal control and stuff, but that's still, they still got their own revenue.
Yeah.
And so the $20 would go so far for y'all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, that's like 20 per animal. That's all of our pit bulls adoption fees for the year.
But it would make it a better facility. Mm-hmm. It would help y'all market it better. Because marketing's a lot of money for y'all.
Oh yeah, it is.
So I mean, like hey, go for it. Give up that $20, dog.
For real.
Oh, give it up. Give up the $20, and then you just let them have the $20, and then you watch it grow.
I think, like it also going back to you yourself weren't even very comfortable with going back to the police department. I mean, there are times that it prohibits the animal from going home because people have warrants out for their arrest, and then they don't want to go to the police department because they have to provide ID. Or
the fact that you're going 3 hours trying to find your dog, you can't find your dog, and then you call and find out your dog's taken. It's a lot of work. You're exhausted. You're pissed off.
Yeah,
it's a real thing. No, I'm just saying, like, I do not believe in. Like I said, like I did not like going there because I had to go there, and I was like, what? And I go to y'all, and it's like, why don't you just like, add it to y'all's fee, and then that makes sense. That makes more sense to me. I mean, if they're dropping the dogs off to y'all, then just let me one-stop shop.
I also feel like a lot of people they get nervous. Like I feel like I do something wrong if there's a cop driving behind me, but if I have to go to the police department to be able to go get my dog, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh
like,
man, what are they going to do to me?
They think that
I've already been arrested a few times. That's good. Now I only get arrested once at Cruising Coast last year in Ocean Springs. Shout out Downtown OS. If y'all like this stuff, share it. But what is anybody's thoughts on South Mississippi Humane Society collecting the $20 for, honestly, just dropping the dog off? I mean, $20 is a huge amount of money. Mm-hmm. Like you said, it would just take care of.
It adds up significantly. Yeah.
And your housing, because you're talking about weight of the animals, and it's just, I mean, I guarantee you, if I get y'all's, I mean, I'm pretty sure y'all got money in the account, but it takes away from less marketing money.
Oh, for sure. I mean, well, it takes away from direct services, realistically. I mean, running that operation is there. Like I said, I keep going back to it. There's just so much more to it. I mean, you have to replenish your supplies, right? I mean, as simple as an airline kennel, which we utilize for sometimes like during the cleaning process, we'll take the animal from their kennel themselves and put them in like a carrier type kennel space, just as holding. Those are like 70, 80 to $120 per kennel, and the dogs, they're plastic, they'll chew right through them, and
so you have to rebuy
replenish them.
And they're what, $80, $60?
Yeah,
They're expensive as shit.
Easy. And you're looking at one room holds 40 of those. That's a lot. It's a lot. We have to buy about $7,000 worth of airline kennels every year. That's kennels alone.
$7,000.
Mm-hmm.
So if that $20 would be, or you know what?
It's eaten.
Maybe they take 15. They give you all 5. I don't know how this would work. I mean, Long Beach PD can't accept money. How does Gulfport do it? It's Gulfport. I don't know. Figure it out.
I don't know. I don't want to speak on that because
I don't either. But I will.
I'm notorious for it, though. You already know on this show.
Yeah.
No, I personally cannot speak on it.
I will say that I spent my very first day working there. She had me read every single contract with every single city. So there's lots of differences.
And shout out to Ivan Spinner. I'm not loved that much on that, but nah, man, I love Gulfport. I'm gonna live here forever. And the Pink Dress for Nun's been a home for me. But these are situations that I believe in. So take $20 should go to the shelter so they can survive. I'm going to believe that. And if you get upset with me, then let me know. There's other cities around here, and I'm very serious about it. Like, I've raised $500,000 with my team, with my BFF, John.
John.
And no, I mean, me and John have worked our ass off. I mean, we've both we've put our heart into this stuff, but John stands with me in this kind of stuff. John Carter is by far one of the coolest motherfuckers.
He really is. He's incredible. You are too, obviously, but he does all this stuff, and he's incredibly talented.
Yeah, he
music wise.
Larry, baby sits right here. That's why he's motion. But I think the biggest things though is I think Hugh Keating's got a big path. Shout out to Ron Rowland. I think there's a lot of adjustments with the city of Gulfport and what's going on. I think I don't like the $20 thing. I think that needs to go to the shelter. I think it will increase so much. Like I said, $7,000 on kennels, new employees, other people to help wash. Like I said, they're at capacity. And I mean, where else are you going to bring them? And that's something that look, you got grant money. You can go after more grants. But I'm going to speak on this, and that's it. And I hope he clips it. But these people need the $20, and it's and that's what that. If we're the only city taking the $20, well, what are we doing? Yeah. And I'm not going to run for politics, but what are we doing taking $20? Tell me another story about it, because we're the largest city here. Discuss me.
Yeah, I think there's other ways and to build revenue if that's what the concern is, but more realistically, I know that the city of Gulfport is concerned about the number of animals that are entering the shelter, just because it does affect them in some ways, but it's a little bit of out of sight, out of mind, because we are the housing facility and they're not providing that direct service. And so we can say, oh, we're over capacity, but nobody really understands what that looks like until you're in it. And until we're in a place where we're going to be a little bit stronger and more, we're going to, number one, enforce the animal ordinances that are in place already. In terms of animal abandonment, there is no such thing. If we're going to try and make sure that we're holding pet owners accountable for allowing their animals to just run at large, like carelessly. But what would be most helpful to the city of Gulfport is to put some sort of microchipping ordinance in place. Like Haleigh was saying, It's a matter of this dog showed up in her house.
Like, I don't know.
And the dog never had to come to the shelter because it was scanned for a microchip and was returned back to its home. And there are instances where that doesn't happen, but it will lower those numbers. And it is directly going to benefit the city. So I think maybe we're not looking at the right solution. I don't really understand what the idea was behind making them go pay the city of Gulfport, or why that benefits them. But it's going to directly impact the city if we put some sort of stopgap, like more of a preventative measure,
or split it, or figure out a certain way.
Yeah,
because it's because I had to go there, and like I felt like you said, it's like, look, I'm fine. Like I'm gonna pay. I'm gonna stand how I feel. Like I love, like Hugh Keating I'll tell you right now, Hugh Keating will go down as one of the greatest Gulfport mayors. He was a college roommate with my stepdad. He's built his firm for years. And I asked him one time on the phone, it was Saturday. I was like, dude, are you doing this to like be cool, or are you doing this because you care? And he's like,
Right.
no, this is a real conversation. He's like, I'm doing this when I want to help my city.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a full believer in what Hugh Keating's got coming.
Yeah.
Because he actually cares. But like, these are topics that he probably like that we need to hit on.
Yeah.
These are things that get me in trouble. Like it happens time and time again, because this is why I do the podcast.
It's to start some discussion around it.
Yeah, there are things that are hard to talk about that aren't talked about nearly enough.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of those.
Yeah, because imagine like what it would do for like the facility of, just like I said, new employees.
Mm-hmm.
Like we can get other money different ways. I know people like, let's go to Ocean Springs. Let's talk about this. Kenny Holloway. For me, people are like, well, Kenny's, wasn't the greatest mayor. But in 3 years, Kenny got $31 million in grant money. $31 million.
Wow.
Ocean Springs never got that much money. Never. 31 million in 3 years.
That's insane.
Get more grant money. There's other ways to do things. Like, it's important that, like, I didn't know that was a situation, because like, and I know it's a housing place, but it's on weight. And so for instance, like, can y'all spend $100,000 on a new mobile unit?
Like a mobile clinic, or
Yeah.
just a vehicle? I could use a vehicle tomorrow. Actually. Yeah. We drive transports to New Jersey once a month. So basically we have like a load of animals, and we have a partner shelter that we go to where they have a high adoption rate.
But
like,
gas, everything adds up.
Yeah. Yeah. And
The maintenance on the vehicles you
on
have?
the vehicle. Yeah.
Roof for the building. Do you own the building?
We own the building. Yeah.
But like maintenance on the building, insurance.
AC.
Oh my gosh, AC. AC has been going on.
AC, the AC has been like a huge challenge for us because it's like 15 years old, and it's been much of it has been worked on and replaced over the years, but it cannot keep up. It's a big metal warehouse building, and it's struggling. But
and y'all have to pay. I own an insurance office. Y'all pay insurance, though, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we have to.
And that keeps going up too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And especially when you're dealing with animals too, like the amount of liability with bites and scratches and any type of incident that can happen with it. Like our insurance is super expensive. I don't know the exact numbers. That's not my role.
But
yeah.
But like $20 would go a long way per
Definitely.
animal.
For sure.
And it's not only per animal, it's per day.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Wait, what, the $20?
$20?
Yeah, it's per day.
Yeah,
It's
per
not
day.
even like per
day
animal.
Yeah.
Day 2 is 40 up to day 5.
I think this is a good topic. It's something I kind of want to get behind. Done a few things already, Gulfport. Love you. No, and look, like I said, I believe I believe there's change. If if that's more money for y'all. It's not y'all are a nonprofit, so it's not about how much money y'all are making. Y'all are like, hey, we need a new 2-story. We need a new warehouse. We need to bring in, if we're going to bring more animals, because like, guess what? 10 years ago, I'd be like, why? Like, there's not that many people on the road, but now families are moving in. We made this place for people to live. So now you're bringing in more people. So you're going to have more animals.
More and more.
All right, we're going to close this out. So in your situation, how can they contact y'all how can they reach out if they want to volunteer or adopt? What is the address? What is the website?
So we're located at 2615 25th Avenue. And you can email, the best email to email would be info@hssm.org. That can be all encompassing and get to where it needs to go if you have any questions. And our website is www.hssm.org.
And thank you for reaching out to me.
Of course.
Tell your dad thank you too.
Thanks, Dad.
Shy Garland.
We appreciate it though, just being
thank you
here.
so
And
much.
giving
I
us a
love what
platform.
y'all are doing. I think you're doing it for others, not for yourself.
Yeah.
And y'all always have a spot on here. And the Pink Dress Run, if y'all want to do a vendor thing, you're more than welcome to do that. If y'all want to do a pink out the pet or whatever y'all want to do, that's fine. But that's on y'all.
When was the last time you did that?
Probably 2 years ago, 3.
I'm gonna look it up.
I don't like, because I'm that person. I have other things going on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I think for us, it's like, and I mean, because it's like, it's just a lot. Because I mean, animals are out in that event, they're peeing,
Yeah.
I can't keep my eyes on it. Like, I mean, I'm like,
You gotta watch them. Yeah.
yeah, whatever y'all want to do, because y'all are right down the road from us. We're on 14th Street, Chandelier Brewing. Shout out to them. And guys, I love y'all so much. If you're looking to adopt an animal, go down there and see them. But keep in mind, though, it takes money. You can't just go, maybe I want a dog. I think you're going to see the better end of a dog if you give it a few months. I don't think it happens overnight. I mean, like right now, it's like, not Costco, but Cusco. But his nails are bad, and I got to trim them tomorrow because they are just killing me. And I don't want to scare him. So I'm like, because he just jumps in my lap, so he's digging in my skin. I'm like, ugh, but tomorrow I'm going to trim his nails. But just invest in the animals. And I tell you what, they have hearts too, and they are the best Xanax you will ever get in your life.
Very true.
I love you guys. Shout out, and see you on the next podcast. Thursday, we have Trent Dickens coming on. They'll be producing a movie. Morgan Freeman and On the Coast, going to do a movie, sci-fi movie at that. Talk to you Thursday.